Hello everybody, my name is Erika, I'm 22 years old and I'm from Italy, and now I'm here in Tarragona to have my first year of the master, and this is my beautiful terrace in my home in Tarragona. Before to start presenting the site that I choose for this seminar, I would like to introduce a little bit myself. I did my bachelor in Italy, in Ferrara, and that's where I met Marta, who was the first one to tell me, hey, archaeology is fun, we have a lot of things to find out, come on and switch to the dark side. And, well, I think that from this moment on, it was love at first sight. Well, maybe Marta's words weren't exactly these ones, but okay, well, I paraphrase it for the sake of the video and of the narration, of course. So I decided to do my bachelor thesis in lithic, and now I continue to be really interested in lithic. That is my main field, I would say. So I told you a little bit of my university story, of my interest in the archaeology, but of course, when I'm not studying knapping stones, I like to do a lot of other things. I like to travel. I traveled a lot in my life thanks to my parents that always bring me with them. And now that I'm a big girl, I continue to travel. Of course, I prefer backpacking travels because of the budget. And we are student, we don't have so much money. So, but I continue to travel and I love to do it. And I like reading. I like to bake, even if I'm not so good at it, but I like the process of baking. And of course, I like to spend time and hang out with my friends. And during this master, I'm doing a lot of new friends. Okay, so let's start with the presentation of the site. The site that I choose is the Chotachara Cave, and I choose this site because of two main reasons. The first reason is that was my first real excavation, and in the photo you can see me super happy during the excavation. And the second reason is because this site is investigated from the University of Ferrara, that is the university where I had my bachelor, under the direction of Matteo Zarello. So, the Chotachara Cave, it's on the Fenera Mount that is located in the small town of Borgosesia. That is a town that is in the region of Piemonte in Italy. It's an active karstic cave with two entrances. The first entrance is the one that you can see in this photo, and it's where we have the Paleolithic site. Well, the second entrance is not visible in the photo, but it's really close to the first one, and it's where we have a late Roman site. But in this PowerPoint, of course, we will investigate the prehistoric one, so let's talk about the Neanderthal occupation. We have two different areas that have been investigated in the main entrance. So the entrance where we have the Paleolithic occupation. The first area is the rock shelter that is not excavated anymore, and the second one is the atrial area that is still under excavation. The stratigraphy is composed by clay sandy levels within limestone pebbles that come from the up of the cave, and we can see in the stratigraphy that we have a slope that is caused by a river inside the cave that is created when it rains. But now let's talk about the chronology. The human presence in the Chotachara has been dated up to Ms. 5. That is a glacial stadium confirmed also by the continuous presence of Ursus speleus, and we can suppose that the cave should have been occupied for short but repeated periods from human groups, and we can understand this both from the presence of Ursus speleus and the characteristic of the lithic assemblages. But how can we be so sure about a human presence in the cave? Well, first of all, we have human remains in the cave. These human remains are composed from tooth and from a nearly complete fragment of occipital bones that we can see in the photo that I put in the slide. And these human remains are really important, not only because they are a testimonials of the presence of human groups inside the cave, and of course that allow to recognize that are prehistorical groups, but also because the Chotachara represent the oldest evidence of Neanderthal presence in northwestern Italy so far, and the human remains that have been found can allow us to think that they are from a group that represent a transition from Heidelbergensis to Neanderthal. Now let's talk about the lithic technology. The principal methods that we can find is the SSDA, but we can also find the Skoldas, Levallois and Combewa products in the site. The two raw materials that are present in the lithic assemblages of the Chotachara are quartz and flint. Quartz is the main raw materials. Most of the products that we can find inside the site are made on quartz, and that's probably because it's the most common raw material that can be found on a Phaneron mount. The flint, instead, it's more rare, and when it's present, usually it's a good quality of flint. The final products are mainly flakes with different morphologies and dimensions, and some of these flakes have been retouched in order to obtain mainly side scrapers, notches, denticulate, but we can also find some Mosterian point and other kind of points. Of course, the things that I told you during this presentation are just a little part of all the things that we could say about the Chotachara cave. But very sadly, I don't have enough time in this presentation to talk about everything. And so that's all. That was my presentation. I want to thanks for your attention, and that's all.